All right, and we are live. We're here, everybody.
This is exciting.
Welcome, welcome, party people, to the very first episode of Utharian Legends. It has been long in the making, many, many tears, many sweat beads of stress, but we finally made it. You may recognize some of the people here. We have the glorious Finn and Jessica with us from What Streams May Come. Got the illustrious Robo Goblin. Weren't you like Robo? Weren't you like consistently on the top of the trivia night scores? Was that you?
Yes, that
Okay,
was me.
yeah, that's that Robo Goblin. We have Triest. I'm where. What are you usually in? What do you usually do
She's
here?
in What Streams May Come last night.
Oh, well, that shows how much I pay attention. And then, of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Strike. How are you, sir?
I'm awake.
Yep. I think we're all in that same boat. Yeah. Let's jump right into it. Strike. Go ahead,
All
take it
right.
away.
So, welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of the Sunday Brunch Club doing Utharian Legends. Uh, a quick summation Utharia is a homebrew world I've been working on for probably about a decade now. That originally spawned from a desire to run a particularly nasty trap in a dungeon against players who could not possibly be prepared for it. And it's all spun out from there. Since then, I've run several home campaigns in it and played with a lot of different players in it. And I'm incredibly excited to be able to take this particular group to a major historical event to see how they can affect how the world's history goes. The world itself we'll introduce here in a moment with a wonderfully made video by our own Robo Goblin and Miss Barbara herself, who put together an incredible intro for us here. And then once that's done, we'll meet our players and begin our story. So, Nate, if you can press whatever magical button you've got on your end.
All right, here we go. Enjoy.
The world of Utharia is one of balance, where the selfish and selfless are constantly measured on a cosmic scale. A place where law and chaos coexist, and where duality is the pantheon or standard. Our story is set upon the main continent, where dwarves and elves lived along with others for centuries. But only in the last few hundred years have humans made their way here, storm-bedraggled refugees founding a new home, calling it Dawnsharbour. Once established, the newcomers have made great strides in technology and trade, making cautious allies of the original residents. The city has grown by leaps and bounds under the watchful guidance of a wise monarchy that has ruled peacefully for generations, stretching back to the first settlers on the land. Recently, tragedy struck the city as several high-ranking members of the king's own guard plotted a coup to overthrow the government and install a new order. Whispers and rumors reached the ears of the king's family, one of whom was able to get word out to an unlikely heroine, the king's youngest daughter, Calliope. A bard trained by the College of Valor, youngest of 4 siblings, and an itinerant adventurer, she returned to Dawnsharbour just too late to save most of her family. But assisted by her wife, their cleric and healer Calliope, and their constant companion Elmare, paladin and warrior, the trio were able to slay the traitors and restore order in the city. Shortly thereafter, Queen Calliope began her reign, bringing prosperity yet unknown in the great city to pair with the restoration of peace. 5 years later, a small band of adventurers, known but of much smaller fame than the Queen and her company, returns to the city of Dawnsharbour following an adventure of their own. And it is there that we shall begin our tale, and watch as it becomes a legend.
And we're back.
All right. So I think the easiest way to get started, and just to give everyone at home a brief introduction here, is I'm going to go sort of around the virtual table and ask everybody to tell us who you're playing and what they look like. Well, we can spare class and such for later, as I suspect that will probably become relatively obvious as we go. But at least that way, everyone has a virtual and visual idea of what we're looking at. So, since you're already unmuted, Nate, why don't you tell us about Sobus?
All right. Sobus is a dragonborn barbarian. Just super jacked lizard man. Scars all over him. He has one scar sort of right here on the right side of his face. Not quite over the eye, but like over the nose. Um, yeah, yeah. He's got a big old great axe. That's pretty much Sobus. That's he just looks scary.
All right, and we'll just go around to Master Finn. Why don't you tell us about Robin?
Robin Wayfair is a not particularly tall human. He is about just, little shy of average adult male height. And he has dark black hair, green eyes, and tends to dress a little flashier than he needs to in the given moment, just because he wants people to think that he's got it all figured out already. And that's Robin. Robin is coming at you with a smile, and you're not quite sure why.
All right, Robogoblin. Yep.
Hello. So I'll be playing. Hello. I'm Robo Goblin, and I'm gonna play Lunas. And Lunas is a 4/1 medium brown skin halfling with short black messy hair, handsome face, and a thick beard. And he has teal eyes. He wears a green Buccaneers coat and a purple shirt, black belt, black pants, and wears brown boots. And I do carry with me a pair of blue dragon scale goggles with crystal lenses that look as if they were sandblasted. And that's me.
All right, and we'll continue around counterclockwise to Gloriosa Trieste. Tell us about her.
Good morning. I'm Trieste, and I'm going to be playing Gloriosa, who's a half elf, red hair, medium build 4'10", who is generally dressed in something yellow. It's her favorite color. So,
All right, and last but far from least, Jess, tell us about Alma.
So Alma Verfolkt is, she's 5'11", she's very pale. She looks very close to like what I dressed up as today. So she has icy gray eyes and it's kind of brooding. So we'll find out more as we go along.
Indeed. All right. So our adventurers here are relatively well known in and around the city of Dawnsharbour, as at the third level that they are at, there are certainly some adventurers more famous, but they've made a name for themselves in and around the city over the last several months, doing all sorts of various and sundry things. They are returning into the city of Dawnsharbour on the west coast, just over my shoulder here. There we go. After having had an adventure that we may or may not learn about over the course of the game, but is not particularly germane to the adventure we are about to begin. The city of Dawnsharbour sits on a river delta on the coast of the continent and is a major trading hub. The best explanation I have as a historical context would be, think of Boston in the early 1800s. It's a boom town. Things are incredibly crazy as there are all sorts of people moving in and out of the city. There's ships coming in with goods from all over the world. There are boats going up and down the river and doing trade along the way. And all the way at the end of the river at the lake is Lake Town, one of the brand new settlements on the continent. And that is where the trading is really picking up, because that is where the crossroads are between the other major powers on the continent. Nibiru, the capital of the elves, to the east, and Lumia, the capital of the dwarves, to the south. Lake Town is sort of where everybody comes together to barter and trade. But we've left Lake Town now, and the adventurers are finally returning to Dawnsharbour by way of the eastern gate along the river. The city walls are relatively new, having been constructed in the last several years, mostly out of precaution more than anything else. The continent is relatively peaceful, but every now and again, wandering monsters and beasts will come by and the like. And the queen, having defeated her own coup to take her throne, wants to be sure that the city is safe. And so walls were relatively hastily constructed. The gate itself is made of a shining steel and serves as a welcome into the city that was founded by refugees and throws open its doors to all who might come and participate in its society and its structure. So I will go ahead and look to the party here. As the large gates of Dawnsharbour swing open on the east of the city, where would you like to go from here?
So, are we going on an adventure?
Well, I think one's enough for just a hot minute, my friend. Let's probably head back to the Cross Keys.
Fine.
We made
I'm
more
not
profit
sure.
than we expected. We need to bank it.
I wouldn't mind a rest.
I wouldn't mind a large glass of ale.
Buddy, we get back to the Cross Keys before dark. I'll get you two.
No, don't give him more than one. Then he can't stomach it.
Oh, but it's fun when he stomachs more.
It's gonna be one of those nights, isn't it?
I might have heard that there's a fight organized this evening.
What?
Sobus, buddy,
What?
how's about a little extra coin and a little extra dancing?
It must be my birthday.
You want him to fight drunk?
Trust me, it's safer for everyone else when he fights drunk.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, but does anybody want a cookie?
I want a cookie.
And I just reach into my bag, a purple bag. It's a bag of endless cookies, and I hand over one to you.
What? I take the cookie.
I like snacks.
I eat the cookie.
All right, very good. Well, let's see what Barney's got going on. Hopefully he hasn't rented out our rooms for the night.
And we make
And
our
so
way
we-
to the tavern.
All
Cross
right.
Keys Inn.
The Cross Keys Inn is a middle of the road tavern and inn, not too far outside of the docks district of Dawnsharbour, and is easily found down the main road through town. As the party winds their way through a city in mid-morning, there are a number of people bounding around. It's almost a Disney movie, but we're not going to do a musical here. We did theater last night. But there are all sorts of people that seem to be from out of town swarming through the city streets. And in particular note is there are a large number of dwarves that are here. They all seem to be wearing not quite formal clothes, but certainly nicer clothes than you would expect to see during a weekday mid-morning. And many of them seem to already have had a couple of their own glasses of ale as they move throughout the city and make their way through the market district, looking in stores and shops and sort of being extraordinarily touristy as they look to see what's for sale. Many of them comment, often not particularly kindly, on the workmanship of certain items, talking about how much better they are back home and why would you pay so much for something of such poor quality. For what it's worth, all of the townsfolk and locals, the merchants in the area, seem to be taking it all with a good humor, and noting that these are clearly out-of-towners that don't know our ways, and it would be rude to throw them through windows. By the time the party reaches the Cross Keys Inn, it's fairly clear that there's a delegation that has arrived in Dawnsharbour, and this is only encouraged by the greeting that the lovely innkeep of Dawnsharbour, or of the Cross Keys Inn rather, Helwis, gives to the party when they enter in. Helwis is a half-elf, young as far as half-elves go, and she has run the Cross Keys Inn for some time since her father passed on a number of years ago. As such, she's known the party for quite some time and regularly is a source of information and sometimes comfort, depending on how the job has previously gone. But when the party returns today, she makes sure to flag them down as soon as they've walked in the door by waving from over at the bar. She's even kind enough to start pouring a glass of ale and a couple of wines as the party approaches.
Hello, Helwis.
Good morning, Lunas. Good morning, Robin. I have a letter for you all. I was hoping you'd get back today.
Is it a customer?
I think it very well might be.
Oh, you know how I love a good bill of sale, Helwis. Don't tease me.
She slides across a parchment envelope with a unusual seal. It appears to be a wax imprint of a hammer and a coin, but it isn't a seal that you recognize from anywhere in and around Dawnsharbour.
Well,
this arrived for you yesterday.
Look, Robin, they put a coin on it for you.
That is promising. They know the way to my heart.
I sort of look over his shoulder. Do I recognize the seal?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Woo, first roll.
You want to know what my modifier is? It's -1.
All right.
I had a hunch it might be.
Yep. Ooh. Nope. I rolled a 6.
Yeah, no.
So roll a history check.
If anyone would like to see if they can identify the seal, feel free to roll. If you have any significant time in the city of Lumia, I will give you advantage.
What about traders from Lumia?
Not going to be traders from Lumia.
Okay.
$14.
Pretty close. Anybody else want to give it a shot?
I rolled a 9, so 14 didn't get it. Neither did mine.
Rolled a 5. Well, I rolled a 2, but my result is 5.
Right. So with a 14, with a 14, Alma recognizes this as definitely something from Lumia. This is a dwarven design, very clearly. Lunes, you recognize this as the seal of the Guild of Ambassadors from the government of Lumia.
Which, by the way, For those who can't see, he rolled a 19.
I think that's from the Guild of Ambassadors.
Ambassadors.
Yes.
Official city business. Government pockets. Let's see what we've got. Robin pulls his dagger from his hip. Just slots the tip under the seal, pops it open, unfolds, and what do we find?
Inside is a relatively short note in a relatively blocky but still somewhat feminine hand that is signed by an Ingrel Orbender. And it reads, Adventurers, I am part of the trade delegation to Dawnsharbour, and I am newly arrived. And it was my hope that I might have a group of local heroes show me some of the things about the city. If you are interested, you can find me at the ambassador quarters in the palace itself, and I would adore an opportunity to bend your ear, pick your minds, and tour the city with some of the finest guards available. Sincerely, Trade Ambassador to Dawnsharbour, Ingrel Odourbender. I'm sorry, Orbender, not Odourbender.
Robin was getting ready to make a joke about Overbender.
You know what this means, Robin?
It means the palace.
It means you need to be on your best behavior.
Yes, but it also means the palace.
Does it mean Does it mean I have to wear a shirt?
Probably.
Good chances are good. You know what? A big coat might do well. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what Helwas has for you.
But what are you talking about? He looks great like that.
Oh,
Lunas. No.
Yes.
I'm
No.
not arguing. My boy looks great. However, nice society does not have an eye for prize fighters like we do.
He's fine for us, but not for the palace. He needs to cover up some of it.
Don't worry, Moonchild. We're still taking our favorite Leatherface everywhere we go.
Upon hearing you ask whether Helwas has something for you, she steps back into a back room and comes back with a large leather cloak. But it appears to be the leather of some beast as opposed to simple deer. And she will lay it on the counter, and it becomes very clear that this is obviously something that would fit Sobis as opposed to, say, Gloriosa.
This looks amazing. I love it. I try it on.
It fits very well. And Helwas smiles. She said, I had this made for a friend of mine that unfortunately never quite made it back from his last adventure. But I think that he would be very proud to see you wear it, Sobis. It's made from Umber Hulk.
Do I know what Umber Hulks are?
Give me Arcana.
Can we all do that?
Absolutely.
Woof. Nope. No, I do not. I rolled an 8.
Yeah, 6 on Robin's. Robin just not. He's blanking on it.
Dude, we're doing great. We're doing so good.
Well, we know who the brains of the outfit are, that's for sure. Gloriosa and Alma, on the other hand, are familiar with Umber Hulks as the great beasts that they are. They are fairly strong monsters that are relatively rare. You can sometimes find them underground. They're fairly dangerous, but they do have fairly thick hides that often can be made into clothing if you're brave enough to slay an Umber Hulk and live long enough to skin one.
Oh, Sobis, that's really special. Thank you, Heloise.
I love it. I do. I don't recognize what creature this came from, but it's beautiful. Thank you so much. And I give her a big hug.
She smiles as she sort of prinkles under your grasp and pats you on the bicep. I think it should work for the palace.
Oh, easy, big guy. Easy, big guy. Save some for the queen. Save some for the queen.
Please don't
Don't
maul
hug
me.
the queen.
I know not to hug the queen.
Not you, him.
Okay.
Is that not allowed?
Do you value living?
I mean, I prefer it.
Yeah, then don't hug her.
Oh,
Most people don't hug the royals. Sorry.
well, that's no fun at all.
And I turn to Helwis and ask, did that belong to a hero too, Helwis?
He was always a hero in my eyes. I don't know whether the public would have recognized him as such or not. He was a bit more mercenary even than you folks are. But he had a good heart and a bit more pride than sense on more than one occasion. And I suspect that's why he never made it back.
You're double the hero now, Sobis. Congratulations.
Heroes. Great big heroes, all of us.
Huzzah!
So, but if we are going to see the royals, I think I need a change of wardrobe. So if you don't mind, I think I'm going to wash a little bit of our last adventure off of myself and get into something more appealing. Robin hurries upstairs to his own quarters at the Cross Keys.
Anyone else making particular preparations for palace purveyances?
Nah, Sobus is good. He put the cloak on.
Glorious is gonna go clean up, make sure that there's not like ash and soot everywhere.
Alma's gonna go upstairs and just change her robes and make sure that she doesn't smell like death.
I'm going to ask Alma, is this appropriate for the palace?
You might want to get a cleaner shirt, but otherwise, yes, you're fine.
All right. And I prestidigitate all myself and like, look, sparkly buccaneer, little buccaneer.
There you go.
Comb your hair.
After a moment, Robin comes back downstairs. He's wearing just the shiniest gold pants and a bright periwinkle blue tailcoat, big ruffly shirt, and red boots with big black buckles on them. Ready to roll.
Because of course.
I didn't even know you owned any of that.
And neither does anyone else if they ask. So, if that's all said and done, I think there's a bit of dwarven coin to be collected. Somebody wants a tour of the city. Who better than us, eh, gang?
I mean, why do they need a tour from us instead of somebody at the palace? Like,
And that is the right question.
Well, and let's go see what we're getting ourselves into.
Let's go on adventure.
Is that
okay.
weird?
Which part?
That they're asking us for a tour.
Well, normally the royals would give their own tours, but if someone's asking us for a tour, they might want to see some of the more special sides of the city. Oh, that reminds me. Barney! I wave over one of the stock boys working at the Cross Keys and pull out just a couple of coins. Okay, I want these two on Loggerhead, and pulls out one more, and this one against Loggerhead just in case.
Barney takes the coins and sort of nods. You know, Loggerhead's 2-1 favored.
I know, but I might have heard something from Longshanks's manager the other night. He might have asked for a bit of help. I might have given it to him. Place the bets, Barney.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever do anything where you don't cheat?
You mean losing? No, I like avoiding that one, dear.
One of these days, this is going to come around and bite you in the ass.
I just hope it bites hard enough to feel good.
And with that, the party can depart along the main road and head towards the palace. The palace itself is relatively understated as far as royals go, and it almost seems like just a very large, very well done house rather than something that was built for proper royalty. Those who are native to Dawnsharbour will know that as a city of originally refugees, the captain of the refugee ship that landed was the first to take charge and was elected by the crew as their leader and became the first king of Dawnsharbour. His house then was certainly more grand than others, but was hardly something with great fortifications and the like. But as the home of royalty, that's where the palace is. The building itself is well guarded. The Queen's Guard is decked out in greens and blues to go with their very shiny armor. But their weapons are a little different than they would have been even a few years ago. They're no longer cosmetic. They're not for show. Every one of the guards is wearing a weapon that they seem obviously comfortable with and are quite capable of using in the defense of the city. As the party approaches the palace, the complex that has sort of sprung up around it is arrayed around a large town square. The square has a fountain in the center that has, or had rather, 3 figures that water flowed out of, 2 of whom have been broken and have not been repaired. These were broken during the insurrection, and the Queen ordered that they remain that way as a reminder to everyone of the strife that they have all passed through and gotten stronger from. As such, the only part of the statue that still has water flowing from it is the bottommost figure. The complex has dozens of people moving about in it, and if there were a large number of dwarves in the marketplace, there are even more here. However, the ones that are here in the town square are sober and seem to be moving with purpose and are carrying sheafs of paper and other such things back and forth between buildings as what is clearly the trade delegation that you have heard mentioned does its business in town. The embassy quarters are a well-appointed building made with stone and marble that is off to the east of the palace itself. The palace itself has gates that are open, but the flags above the palace indicate that the Queen herself is not currently in the building. The Queen Consort is, but the Queen herself is not.
Ooh. Looks like Calliope is not at home. That's a little nicer. Nice. Very well, very well. So, let's see. Do we know exactly which room we're meeting Ingrel in, or do I need to flag somebody down?
All you have been told is that she's an ambassador, and so the embassy quarters are probably the most likely place to find her, unless she's on business somewhere. But they should at least know where to find her.
Okay, so in front of the embassy quarters, I find the nearest palace guard, flag him over, and start to say, excuse me, soldier boy. Sorry to stop you in your very busy day. However, Me and my fine friends have a little business with a dwarven ambassador staying among you. Would you happen to know where Ingril Orbender lays her head?
Oh, the trade ambassadress. Well, she lays her head here in the embassy quarters, but it's midday, sir, so she's not sleeping at the moment.
Oh, of course. And where is she carrying that pretty head of hers at the moment?
Oh, I believe she's in the palace. I think she was meeting mid-morning with the queen consort. So she should be just about done by now.
Fantastic. And is this a closed doors kind of situation, or would the queen consort be looking for some company today?
From what I'm given to understand,
Robin,
Majesty, the queen consort, never has closed doors. She always enjoys being seen.
Fantastic.
Alma, he's doing the thing again.
What
Just
thing?
don't let him trip over himself this time.
Gentlemen, ladies, biggest smiles. This might be your one opportunity to get into some royal garb.
I smile real big, so I show all of my teeth.
Okay, a little less, big guy. Little less, big guy. There we go. That's my boy. That's my good boy. So I pat Sobis like on his stomach, which is about where I'm reaching right now. All right, big fella, you stay right behind me. Everybody else, big smiles, and let's see what the other half is doing this afternoon.
I turn to Gloriosa and says, "This place is ginormous." Me, a halfling, saying that.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Well, it's a palace. So.
They even have a fountain here. I want one of those.
Well, stop your own coup, take over the city, and you can have all the fountains you want. Or, if you don't want to put in the work, let's just make nice with the elf lady, shall we? And so off we tread to the royal court.
The main gates into the palace area are open during the day. And while the guards sort of look over everyone that's passing through, no one is checking weapons or anything of the sort. It is not unusual for people to be armed in the royal presence, as it is considered a way of ensuring that there are no ill doers in the area, because if everyone is armed, then everyone is polite. The palace is a very well-built building, but it is largely wood, as that's what originally was there at the time. It has obviously been redone over the years and rebuilt, repaired, and updated as the centuries have gone by since Dawnsharbour's founding. And the building itself has expanded several times to accommodate larger royal families, more office space, and the like. The main throne room, the receiving hall of the palace, was originally just a great hall where dining was done. And as such, it is a large rectangular room with a number of doors on all sides, leading to various hallways that would get to kitchens and the such when it was originally built, but have since been updated to include hallways to offices and other spaces where diplomats and officials would be. Sure enough, the queen consort Calliope is indeed holding court in the main receiving hall. And she is seated at the left of the throne itself. The throne is another wooden structure, and it itself is probably one of the only things in this building that has never been updated. It is a large chair but is not particularly ornate or decorative. It's simply a very old wooden chair there that has sat at that spot for a very long time. There are nicks and cuts in the top of it, and there is actually a gouge in the left armrest that looks like it was done with a blade, as there was fighting in this room during the coup and the insurrection. The queen consort is seated on a smaller but stone chair beside it, and it looks considerably more comfortable than the actual throne. Calliope is a strikingly beautiful woman with golden hair, fair skin, and is never seen at anything but the absolute pinnacle and height of fashion. She's known to be a cleric of the god of life and death, and is a potent healer, and was married to Calliope while they were adventurers out in the world itself. Standing in front of Calliope is a dwarven woman dressed in brightly colored fabrics, sort of layered over each other, that are very well made, but not particularly flashy aside from their coloring. She has long salt and pepper hair braided and decorated with all sorts of different coins of different mintings and different places that sort of glitter in the braids as her head moves about animatedly as she's talking. As you are approaching the throne itself, as there are many people sort of moving in and about this large room, the woman with salt and pepper hair makes a deep bow to the queen and smiles to turn around and is surprised to see all of you. But her face, which seems to show all of her emotion clearly on it, lights up in a bright and wide smile at the sight of Sobus and the rest of you. Well, I was hoping you would be in town, and they were not disappointing. Wonderful.
Fear not, we have arrived.
Hello.
Afternoon, Ingrel, I presume. 5-point strike. We always aim to please, hopefully never disappoint, and always provide.
Well, such is your reputation, and why I decided to leave my note for you.
Robin steps forward and puts out his hand for a handshake. And
he takes it very firmly, but not in a competitive sort of way.
I've got to say, I love what you're doing with your hair right now. Absolutely love it, dear. So, the big question is, what can we do for you?
Well, I was hoping that you all might be willing to escort an ambassadress through the town and show me a few of the places that officials from the embassy are more hesitant to go to. The queens themselves are adventurers and certainly have no such fears in places, but most of the officials here are decidedly not. And as much as seeing all of the official market stalls and the office buildings and the like are very interesting indeed, trade is a thing that happens all throughout the city and often in the places that people are less likely to go to if they don't have to. And if I'm going to be the trade ambassador to Dawnsharbour, I need to know about the trade that happens in the city, which means the docks, which means the smaller neighborhoods, the places where coin is not as plentiful. And I think that all of you would be much better at showing me those places than someone who has skirts down to their ankles, if you'll excuse the expression.
Well, dear, I promise you, we have experience with skirts of all lengths and lifestyles of all colors. So, you seem to already know my wonderful associate Sobus. A fan of the fights, perhaps?
He is rather renowned in that regard, yes.
Well, then have you met the rest of our wonderful band?
Perhaps you'd be willing to make introductions.
Absolutely. This wonderful, fun size, wide-eyed wonder is my good friend Lunas. Lunas, just as starry-eyed as any you'd ever want to find. He will always be able to help lead anywhere you want. The best guide. And might I say, quite the chef.
Would you like a cookie? I turn to
She
Your Grace.
ponders for a moment and nods. That sounds lovely, actually.
Can
The
I come
vi-
forward and give you the cookie, or would you like to come here to
She
us?
will happily step forward and take the cookie.
I
she
don't know how
sort of-
to treat royalty, so
I'm not royalty. I'm a working lady, just like everybody else. I just happen to be good at it enough that they sent me out of town to come here.
Oh, okay. Here's the cookie.
Feel free to call me Ingrel. No trouble at all.
DM.
Mhm.
Outside of game, do I recognize her from my life before this group?
You know, she looks somewhat familiar. There may be maybe a family resemblance to somebody you knew. She specifically, probably not. But she's definitely got family ties to somebody that you might recognize.
Got it. Enough to make me nervous.
Sure.
Yep. All right, continue.
I offer a cookie to the other person too.
There's just the one. Oh,
Oh.
are you offering it to the queen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The queen is seated up at the throne, and she smiles at Lunez with just a breathtaking sort of radiance, and stands up and walks over to you and will take the cookie from you. Well, thank you very much, Lunez. It's lovely to meet you all.
They're pretty good. I like it. But
The queen
if you
will
want
sort of
another,
snap the cookie in half.
there's a lot of cookies here, so
These are quite good. Do you make them yourself?
I do. Well, I did. It's a long story.
Well, we may have to invite you back so that you can tell it. I'm sure that Fia would love to hear about these cookies and probably have more than a few herself.
Well, we are eternally grateful for your hospitality, you flaxen-haired highness. Thank you so much for inviting us in today. Thank you so much for having us here. And if there's anything we could ever do for you, just remember to find us at the Cross Keys Inn.
She smiles sort of beatifically and says, I think, at least for today, the most you could do would be to point my errant wife and daughter back towards the castle and palace, should you see them, as they were supposed to be back by the midday meal and have almost certainly gone out into the forest and are having a grand old time without me.
Oh no.
Fantastic. Well, excuse me, pardon me. Train of thought completely derailed. But such is your beauty, Highness. The vision in yellow behind me is all the bang you'd ever want for your buck. Can I introduce you to our resident artificer, tinkerer, and maker of things that go boom, Miss Gloriosa?
Pleased to meet you.
All the bang I could ever want for my buck.
Oh,
That's
trust me.
what he said.
If you want it built, repaired, or destroyed, Gloriosa's got you covered.
I see. Something to
Ambassador,
certainly bear in mind.
Sorry, Ambassador, how long have you been in town?
Ingral sort of pauses for a moment and does some quick calculations. We arrived late day before last, had our accommodations set and slept the night, and then we're in the city proper for our first day yesterday.
And who pointed you in our direction, if I may ask?
I had some of my delegation go through the inns and ask after adventurers of your stature, and your group was one of the first to reach my ears. And the more I heard about you, the more you sounded like just the right sort of folks.
Oh, we're so flattered.
And speaking of stature, may I present to you this tall glass of ice water, the most wonderful sorceress, and, might I say, imposing of figures if you want protection, Miss Alma. Alma, do the thing. Do the thing you do.
I'm not going to do the thing.
She loves doing the thing. She's just a little shy. Alma, the thing with the hand. Come on. You know you want.
You mean this? And she flicks him in the ear.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ingral sort of smiles and glances between the two of you, and then will make a nodding bow towards Alma. Admittedly, we don't have a whole lot of sorcerers where I come from, so you'll have to pardon the occasional curious question as you do your thing, as it might be.
Well, questions are the thing that I do, my lady. Name's Robin Wayfair, of course, and I am the purveyor of this fine troop of goods. So if you would simply point us into the direction of, or just simply let us know where the person you want guided is, we will certainly go there with her.
Oh, well, you're guiding me. I'm not going to let any of the rest of my delegation have this fun while I don't.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, I believe there's nothing better for a first day out in Dawnsharbour than a walk by the pier.
Excellent. The ambassadress turns and makes a deep bow to the queen, who sort of chuckles at all of you and has a by your leave as she returns, chomping away at the cookie back to her throne and sort of smiling as she does. And the ambassadress will follow you out of the receiving hall and out into the courtyard outside of the palace. So the piers, out of curiosity, how often do officials go to the docks?
Oh, hardly ever if they can help it.
Perfect.
This is mostly for managers, custodians, day laborers. They hire someone to watch the normals, if you know what I mean.
I think the best thing that I can learn from all of you is what the difference is between what officially happens and what actually happens.
Well, that, my dear, is exactly where you've gone right. So, if you'll follow me just around the corner, there's a little pie shop that I know for a fact will sell you more than a pie, if you'd like to see.
I think that would be delightful.
Excellent. So
We're going to the pie shop?
Oh yes, Lunas, don't worry. Plenty of treats for you.
All right.
Okay, so we turn and head off towards this pie shop, which has kind of what you would call a backdoor merchant, who we have all bought something from in the past. So he's one of those guys that can get you a thing.
Things that fell off the back of the cart, so to speak.
So we're going to see our friend who can get us a thing.
What is the name of this pie shop, Robin?
Oof. All right, let's do this. Okay.
I wanted to make a math joke.
Upper crust, how's that?
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
All right. So it is not a terribly far walk from the town square of the palace to the upper crust. The pie shop is, in fact, the sort of place that caters to those who are a higher class of folk. They are the sort of people who probably work in and around the palace, might be in government, and as such, they do a brisk business both in quick lunches that can be had in between meetings and in all sorts of things they're not supposed to be buying because they're absolutely positively not allowed and quietly do anyway. The shop is doing a brisk business as it's about midday and there are people moving in and out of the building, grasping small hand pies that smell both sweet and savory as they move. Obviously, some of these are meat, mince, or vegetable, and some of them are sweet with fruit fillings and the like, both of which seem to be readily available. And they are flying out the door as quickly as folks can move in.
Honestly, this is going to be the best smelling deal that you've ever made in your life.
Generally, most of the deals that I make are pretty far from the food, so I think this almost wins by default.
Question for reference. What kind of goods are we looking to purchase?
Well, I certainly cannot possibly turn down one of these pies. I haven't actually had luncheon yet, and they smell fantastic. If anyone would like one, I have a budget that I'm able to use, and I'd be more than happy to start by buying everyone something to eat as our journey begins.
That is music to my ears.
And I grab one of each pie.
I'll have a cheesecake, please. A whole cheesecake.
Knock yourself out, fellas. Alma, treat yourself. Come on, live a little once.
I will have one mincemeat, thank you.
Oh, whew. Calm down there. Calm down. I didn't mean to go overboard.
Robin.
The pies are all handed out, and the ambassadress takes 3 very bright silver coins that are obviously not Dawnsharbour coins and sets them on the counter. The person behind the counter pauses for a long moment, takes a look at them, then recognizes them finally, collects them, and moves about their way. The restaurant area around the pie shop, there are a number of tables that are there where folks are sitting down to eat. People are taking their luncheon time. And there are also a pathway back around the back of the pie shop to the kitchens and the back alley behind the shop itself.
I see. I call to one of the young ladies carrying pies to and fro. Lucinda! Lucy, how are we today?
She gives Robin an almost exasperated look as she is literally offloading 5 pies to a table as her name is called. And she sort of glances over her shoulder. Robin, it's luncheon. You can't possibly be serious.
No, don't worry. I'm not trying to get into that lovely bun of hair of yours at the moment. I want to know, is Donner about?
Well, it's luncheon. He's probably making pies in the back, like he always is.
Fantastic. Just making sure he was about. So, Miss Ingrel, if you would please follow us. And I just kind of lean on one of the doors to the back room to the kitchen.
I'm gonna ask Alma while Robin's walking ahead, like, didn't she tell him not to call her Lucy?
She did. She did.
Also, I remain standing in line with all of the pies that I have collected for everyone.
The doors to the back of the pie shop are the double swinging sort that are so common in a lot of restaurants. And as you lean on the one side, the other side is basically moving pretty constantly. Lucy at one point brushes past Robin and doesn't quite hip check him into the wall, but there's definitely a little more contact than she needed to get past him as she makes her way back into the kitchen to get another tray of pies. But there's definitely plenty of room in the hallway for everybody to walk past.
Alma's gonna look over at Gloriosa and just like wink at her and giggle.
The smells of the kitchen of the pie shop are absolutely phenomenal. But at the same time, they're almost overwhelming as there are so many flavors in the air from different sorts. Sweet and savory crusts, different kinds of filling. There's at least 2 large pots of stew bubbling over fires. And it's just such a busy kitchen. And as you reach your way into the back room, it becomes clear that this sort of speed and precision is, of course, not possible without a little bit of help. And sure enough, there's a caster of some sort. It's difficult to tell exactly what sort, but an arcane caster who is using mage hand and prestidigitation to make sure all the pies are crimped and properly set so that they can go out as quickly as possible without having to pause to actually manually touch anything themselves.
Chef Mage, that is awesome.
And
That was Robo, not Lunas.
we're looking around for our friend Donner, who should be somewhere around the dishwashing station, if I understand correctly.
Donner is indeed at a large cauldron full of bubbling water, and the water genasi is elbow deep in what would almost certainly be water that would burn anyone else, as he is cleaning off pots and plates and just moving with an efficient quickness as things are stacked next to him. He gives it a little sigh as he grabs another and tosses it in. The suds are pouring over the sides of the cauldron, and the water has gotten to the floor such that you're going to probably need to keep a careful step so that you don't slip and fall.
All right. Well, as we approach him, I call out, Donner. Hate to interrupt you on your spa day, sir. However, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
Well, Robin, you always do pick the most opportune times for such things, because I have nothing but time. I was thinking of taking in a play. And with that, Donner sort of rotates around the cauldron so that he can sort of face you all, continuing to do his work. And Donner is a young man, probably 18 or 19, a water genasi with a fair face, a quick smile, and clothes that are absolutely soaked through. This would probably be a more enticing look if it weren't for the fact that Donner is about rail thin and looks like, while he's certainly eating well, he's definitely not working out in between. This is somebody who skips all the days because that's not really his thing. But as he does, he notices that you are accompanied by the entire group, smiling particularly at Gloriosa, and then notices that there's a dwarf in your midst, and he sort of freezes for a brief moment before resuming the autopilot of washing dishes. Robin, who did you bring into the back room of a pie shop in the middle of luncheon for me to meet?
Good sir, let me introduce you to the ambassadoress of the trade delegation from Lumia, Miss Ingrel Orbender. Ingrel, this is Donner, purveyor of, well, what do you want?
It's unusual to see water genasi with their relatively blue-ish complexions blush, but you've managed to pull it off. And Donner sort of pauses for a minute and glances around. No one else in the kitchen cares. This is well-known knowledge that Donner does this sort of thing. This is part of how he makes his own living. And he sort of nods. I am certainly capable of finding things that others might not, my lady, but I assure you everything is 100% above board and absolutely legal at all times.
And that will remain the party line. By the way, those potions we talked about, did we find them?
I may have found one or two in the back somewhere. Are you sure you wanted to pick them up right now?
Oh, well, I really don't mind either way, but Gloriosa was really hoping you could give us a deal on this one.
Wait till later. It's fine.
Donner sort of glances back and forth between Robin and Gloriosa, a little confused, before taking the last pot out and setting it to the side, and steps back to several lockers that are set up, obviously, for the kitchen staff to put their things. He quickly fiddles with a lock and unlocks his, and pulls out 3 small bottles with an amber-colored liquid inside of them. So you're going to want to make sure that you take these with some food, because if you take them on an empty stomach, they hit a little harder than you would want them to. So just as a heads up, take with food once every 24 hours, or I can't promise that you won't get sick.
Very good. Thank you, my good man. Gloriosa, pay the man.
Very good, Honor. I'm gonna hand him. How much is he?
I assume you'll hand him the agreed upon fee.
Yes. Yes, exactly that. The agreed upon fee.
And he will hand over to Gloriosa the 3 potion bottles with a really big smile. And it's obvious to everyone with even whatever passive insight you might have that he's got a crush. He's never said anything, but it's not hard to tell. And he'll go back to washing dishes, as he does get a bit of a dirty look from the head chef when he stops washing dishes in the middle of luncheon in order to conduct other business.
Thank you so much.
Of
Really
course.
Well, Miss Orbender, there you are. The finest and most curious that money can buy right here at the upper crust. Anything else you would like to see next?
She pauses for a moment and takes a good long look at Donner before turning back to Robin. So, why are the docks as dangerous as they are?
Well, that is a bit of a long story.
Well, why don't you tell it on our way?
Very well. Donner, love you. Mean it. Take care of yourself. Looking good.
Donner splashes a little bit of suds in Robin's general direction.
Okay. Clearly another time. Have a good day, love.
Lucinda sends her regards.
Doesn't she always? And,
I don't think she does.
and out the back door.
Also, just out of curiosity, how close is Sobis to the front of the line with all the pies?
Sobis has reached the front of the line as the party is bailing out the back.
Oh, good.
How many people were there here? There was Lucinda, Donner, and who else?
In the actual kitchen itself, there's probably a good half a dozen folks that are milling about making pies as fast as they possibly can. Lucinda is one of 3 wait staff, and then there is 2 people behind the counter taking funds.
I'll reach for
almost a good dozen people.
Okay. I'll reach for the nearest, I don't know, table or something. And I'll just put a cookie for each of the persons there.
There's definitely a table in the kitchen area that you can set stuff on.
Okay. I'll just put a lot of cookies there.
The head chef takes a moment and reaches over and grabs a cookie as soon as they get set down on the table. You know, Lunas, you're the best reason that Robin comes around.
He's a good guy. Sometimes.
He's definitely
anyway, enjoy the cookie.
And the head chef sort of has cookie in mouth while he continues to supervise and make pies.
Lunas, would you mind collecting Sobis on your way out?
Sobis!
I'm pretty sure Lunas is why we're welcome in as many places as we are. I'm not gonna lie.
Robin, I swear if you get us banned from this one too, I might have to brain you.
Don't worry. Lucinda would miss me too much.
Do you need help with that, Sobis?
No, I got it. As I'm like balancing pies.
So once everyone is out of the shop, Ingrid will make sure that she takes one of the savory pies and thanks Sobis for it before starting to eat. So everything I've heard in the political orders, for lack of a better term, says that the docks aren't worth going to, that they're more trouble than they're worth, and that honestly, if it weren't for the fact that so much trade flows through them, they'd probably have cut them off and shoved them into the sea by now.
Well, that's just what they like to say about the working class now, isn't it? So you see, down here at the docks, you have lots of people trying to make an honest day's living, and others that want to actually survive. So, you see, the docks is where people do the work that no one else will choose to do, and the actual middle class of Dawnsharbour just kind of leeches off of them.
The docks are probably about a 15-minute walk by the main roads from the town square out to the docks themselves. And as you get closer, the smell of sea air begins to sort of permeate everything. Whether that's a good smell or not depends on your own personal viewpoint of salt air, but it's definitely one of the things that makes it very obvious that you are headed in the right direction when it comes to finding the docks. The buildings themselves sort of hide the dock area as they're taller and thicker until you reach sort of a break point to the docks district. And the buildings go from several stories and thick high walls to not quite huts and shacks, but definitely mostly single-story buildings, almost exclusively out of wood. And it looks like this is probably where everyone lived when Dawnsharbour was founded. Since then, those who can have moved more uptown, and those who can't have continued to live here.
Well, Morning Glory, these are your old stomping grounds, aren't they?
I mean, yeah. So,
Ingrul will turn to Gloriosa. So you're from this area?
my family just does a lot of trade, so we end up through here.
Okay. Well, that's certainly interesting.
I'm not sure what all there is much to see other than people loading and unloading and like that.
Well, as the ambassador for the trade delegation, I'm sure Miss Ingram would like to see those stock houses.
I must admit, I'm curious as to what sort of customs and such happens at the docks. Is there a a, a delegate from the palace that checks things when it comes in? Is it just completely up to the consumer as to what comes in where?
I don't actually know that. DM, help.
So in Dawnsharbour, they are very much a laissez-faire style of government. The refugees left oppressive conditions and fled across the sea to found Dawnsharbour. So for the most part, unless it is absolutely necessary that government in some way, shape, or form take an interest in what's going on, as long as everyone is consenting, no one really looks askance at things. And as a result, regulations are few and far between. There is a tax imposed on the storehouses themselves, but it's not based on what they take in or how much business they do, so much as how much size they have. So the bigger the stockhouse, the more they pay in taxes. As a result, most stockhouses are officially several stockhouses that just knocked out the interior walls to form one larger building made up of several smaller and thus taxed lesser stockhouses.
So it's based on square footage rather than on contents.
Correct.
So I'm going to explain to the ambassador. Yeah, it's, a lot of people around here kind of look out for their own, and look after their own stock. And over this way is kind of where all of the storehouses and the goods are once they get here, or if they're ready to go out. It's obviously not a far distance from the ships. Plenty of temporary labor. Unless you work on the docks or live somewhere close by, most people don't actually come down here all that much. So people kind of look out for their own goods and...
That makes sense. So with the way that everything works down here, it almost seems like it would make more sense to tax the goods rather than the space that places take up. Has the Queen ever suggested that maybe some of these policies should be changed, or are they all just sort of letting things go?
Well, I think that as long as the city is taken care of, the Queen isn't as interested in taking more of the people's property and livelihood.
Angel sort of nods and and ponders for a moment. And as you're talking, Lunez, a young halfling boy, comes running up toward you. You recognize him as somebody that's local in the docks area. He's the sort of boy you've probably given a cookie to on more than one occasion, and seems to have noticed you and is running over to you with an urgency.
Oh, Matthew, what is going on?
So I know that you were not supposed to ask for a whole lot of help, but my dad's shop has some angry people in it, and I was kind of hoping that you and Sobis could maybe stand there and make sure that they leave nice and quiet like.
Of course. Let's go, guys. Let's
What
be
kind
heroes.
of angry people?
They're a little taller than me, but they're long noses with teeth, and some of them have wings. I don't know what they're called.
DM, are we talking about kobolds?
Yes, we are talking about kobolds.
All right. Remember that cave rave? Let's
Robin.
remind them who we are.
You mean
Why
the
don't
one you ran into naked?
I had on a hat.
That does not defend you.
Can we go, please?
Yes, let's go.
And I just
what's
ran
going on?
over there.
What's going on?
Okay, we're gonna go flex on some kobolds to get them out of a little boy's dad's shop down at the pier.
And I shove the last 2 pies in my mouth and walk forward.
I think I'm just left standing there kind of with the ambassador, like,
The ambassador looks at Gloriosa. Are we not going to go find out what's going on?
well, they are going to. I don't. Do you want to go in the middle of what could be a fight?
Honey, I'm a dwarf. We come equipped for fights all the time.
Okay, all right. Well, after you.
And Ingril will walk with a purpose after Lunas and Sobis, and reaches into her bag and pulls out a set of brass knuckles.
Nice. I'm liking your style more and more every minute, Ingril. So
Well, you don't graduate from the College of Valor without knowing how to fight once or twice.
very fair.
Graduate from the College of Valor?
Well, of course.
That would okay.
Sobis smiles real big and takes his great axe off his back.
All right. As the young boy leads you all towards a dockside shop, you can hear sounds of angry yelling coming from down the street. And it's yelling in Draconic, which in a lot of ways in Dawnsharbour is sort of the high language. It's what a lot of the governmental edicts are displayed in. So it's kind of like a group of people shouting in Latin. It doesn't sound quite right said in anger that way, but all the words technically are correct despite all of that. When you reach the shop, which seems to sell mostly the sorts of trinkets and such that are handy for itinerant folks that are in, small sets of a camping stove and a small pot, bed rolls and tents, all sorts of things that you might not have had on your ship or might not have realized you might need. And now you've got to spend some of those earnings to make sure that you have a place to sleep and a way to cook food once you've arrived. Um, and inside are a good half dozen, 7 actually, kobolds, led by one carrying a fairly ornate staff topped with a crystalline figure of a dragon. And he is angrily shaking his stick at the shopkeep, and it seems to be an argument over pricing. The kobold is quite concerned that they are being cheated, and the halfling behind the counter is assuring that the prices are already marked. I can't possibly have changed them before you walked in. That's not how this works. These are just what it costs. And if you don't want to pay that, that's fine, but you don't get to take it with you without paying. And if anybody would like to give me an insight check to get an idea of where folks are at, you're more than welcome to.
All right,
Sure.
Robin will definitely do that.
Is there anything I can glean since I do speak Draconic?
Same.
So those who speak Draconic can tell that the kobold that is leading this group is extremely entitled, and sounds like they are coming from I deserve to have these things and I don't want to pay full price, so I need you to sell it to me at half price and smile about it. And the shopkeep is having precisely none of it.
Okay, so they're all talking in Draconic, right?
Yes.
So as soon as I see them, I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay.
And so this is how I flavored it. The voice of Alma is heard as a giant book, shiny and yellow, appears. As Alma reads out loud, the text of whatever they're saying appears on the book, translated to common for all of us.
Did you just summon an Alma Patronus?
You have a magical translating Alma. That is
Yes.
awesome.
I love that Lunas has an Alma Patronus just that pops up to read him the translations.
Also, for that
You gotta get
insight
straight
check, I don't know how you're gonna play this, but Sobus rolled a natural 20 on his insight check.
So Sobus is a fighter by nature. This is what he does. Sobus has long since learned how to anticipate when people are going to throw a punch, when people are angry, when they are out of control, when they are the sort of person who is going to fight recklessly versus fight with a lot of intent and purpose. And this kobold who is demanding better treatment is one small comment away from completely losing it and just overturning a table and swinging on somebody. This is every bar fight you've ever seen 1 minute before it breaks out.
I'm gonna position myself sort of not in the situation, but like just behind it in case he goes crazy. I'm just gonna, try to diffuse the situation.
Okay.
All right, and Robin also rolled dirty 20 on that one.
Yeah, this is absolutely one off word away from becoming a brawl. The kobolds that are sort of arrayed behind the leader, 3 of whom have wings and daggers, and the others are just carrying small daggers, are all chomping for a fight. They see a single halfling behind the counter and 7 of them, and they like these odds, and they're really just waiting for the word to go ahead and show this guy who's boss. None of them have noticed the adventurers behind them.
Let's see.
I'm just gonna walk up And I'm gonna say to the kobold,
What seems to be the problem here?
in Draconic. I'm talking in Draconic.
The lead kobold, who is wearing robes as opposed to sort of leathers, as most of the other kobolds are, turns in mid-sentence with, "And who the heck do you think you," and gets to about Sobus's knees at eye level and stops dead in his tracks upon realizing that whoever Sobus thinks he is, there's like 6 of him all stacked up on top of each other, and that goes really high.
What kind of shop is it again?
Sort of a sundries shop. They sell the sorts of things that I just got off my ship and I realized that I did not bring a camping stove with me. And so I need to pick one up for what I'm doing.
They're like the little airport shops, right?
Yeah, they're like the airport duty-free shops. Half of it is bring home a trinket from Dawnsharbour to whatever family you might have, and half of it is, so you showed up without toothpaste, you'd better get something.
Robin chimes in. You might want to listen to him, friend. There's a restocking fee, and Sobus is known to take the fee out of your teeth.
I smile and show my teeth.
I'm gonna try to sort of diffuse the situation and just sort of look at the halfling shopkeeper and be like, "Hey, you mind if I check for some ribbon?" Like, just kind of redirect everyone's attention, I guess.
One of the winged kobolds, who has not really turned around to look at Sobus, whirls on Gloriosa and points a clawed finger in her face. "You wait your turn!" And given that we have been running for about an hour and a half, I think we'll go ahead and take our break here.
Okay.
And everyone can roll initiative when we get back.
What a place!
Nice.
What a place to take a break.
Well done.
All right. How long we think? About 15 minutes?
Yeah, it is 12:30, so why don't we assume that 12:45 we will be able to roll some dice.
All right. In about 15 minutes, we'll be back. Till then, stick around.
You guys are doing a really great job. Before everyone scatters, I wanted to say that, like, killing it.
That was stressful. Sorry, I got the. And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. When last we left our protagonists, we were in a small little sundry shop with a bunch of Karen kobolds who just decided it was time to pick a fight. So I'm going to ask our party to roll initiative. Thanks to D&D Beyond, I just had to click a single button and all of my monsters got their initiative. And I can't begin to tell you how much that's awesome.
Oh.
So I'm just going to go around the table and ask everybody for their initiative, and then I'm going to put it into this nice, handy little tracker dealie here. So, Sobis, I see you rolled. How did you do?
I rolled a 4.
All right. Lunez.
21.
Nice. Gloriosa.
19.
Okay. Robin.
That'd be a 10.
And Alma.
18.
Nice. All right. Everybody is in order. All right. A winged kobold managed to get a natural 20 on his initiative. So he is going to swing first. This is the one I'm going to assume is putting the claw in Gloriosa's face. So he's going to go ahead and take a swing at Gloriosa.
Wow, rude.
And he rolls a total of 13. Not a hit. So the winged kobold pulls his dagger and stabs at Gloriosa and doesn't even come close. Just not even remotely close. So next up is Lunez.
All right, so Lunas is going to be like, whoa. We don't have to fight. Is that an owlbear figurine? And then, oh, no, don't attack Gloriosa. And then I'm going to put on my goggles, and they're going to start glowing like in this pretty green color.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just put my hand like this, holding on the air, and I'm gonna how many rocks are there? Yeah, 3 tiny rocks that look like asteroids appear, and I'm gonna fling them at the one that attacked Gloriosa.
Okay.
And that's magic missile.
Magic missile it is.
And cast. Oh, so that's 5 damage.
5 total damage?
Oh, wait. I got to roll 3, right? 3 times.
Yep, because you got 3 missiles.
5. Yeah, so that's 12 damage. Force damage.
That kills a kobold, is what that does.
Sorry, little buddy.
Just right off the bat, just kills him flat out dead.
That's my turn.
All right. On a 20, one of his friends, another winged kobold, looks and just lets out this inhuman screech at their companion falling down, and will dive at Lunez with their own dagger stab. And will roll a 21. Will that hit?
Yes, it does.
All right.
But, no, yeah. It's not going to work. Yep, it hits.
Okay, so the winged kobold lunges forward and stabs at Lunez with her dagger, dealing 5 points of piercing damage. Next up is 19, Gloriosa.
I'm gonna turn toward the one that just dove at Lunez. I'm like, whoa, guys, hang on, and point at him and give him frostbite. Hopefully he makes. make a DC 13 con save.
Okay.
That damage roll, though.
Rolled a 2 with a negative con modifier, so that's going to fail. So how much damage was that?
He took 2 cold damage, and he also has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll.
All right. That is a frosty kobold. All right,
He's
Alma.
like standalone.
You know what? Let's not mess with with something that's going on. Let's go ahead. I'm going to cast Acid Splash on him.
Okay. All right, he's got a DC 14 dexterity save. Let's see. He's actually got a decent dex. Maybe he can save. Nope. That's a fail. Yeah. That's 6 points of acid damage, and in a horrible guttural scream, it heals over dead, frozen and covered in acid. The robed kobold who started this entire mess looks at all of you, and you can tell that there's a mental calculation going on, that they've managed to stab one of you guys once, and 2 of his people are dead already. So he's going to go ahead and cast a couple of things here.
Is this the one that I'm like right in front of?
Yes, this is
Okay.
the one that you're right in front of.
Cool.
So he's going to go ahead and cast Expeditious Retreat, so that he can move a little faster. And then he's going to go ahead and toss out some Scorching Rays. So let's see how he does with that. He's going to hit Sobis, Alma, and Gloriosa with 1 each. So the first one, that is Sobis, and that will be 23. Does that hit your AC?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey,
For
you never know.
shame.
So that's 2d6 fire damage. Oh, hey, 10 points of fire damage for Sobis.
Ow!
And Gloriosa, does a 10 hit your armor class? No, I wouldn't think so. That's fine. And Alma, I'm going to guess, does 13 hit your armor class?
No.
All right. Well, Sobis is the big target. So, I mean, he's standing literally where he could.
Yeah.
So the
firing
kobold
at me,
reaches
like,
up
point
and
blank.
point blank fires a bolt at Sobis, burning his chest, and then turns to fire at Gloriosa and Alma and can't hit the broadside of a barn. So he is perfectly in tune with all of my normal NPCs. Next up is Robin.
All right, so Robin sees that. How many kobolds are we talking here? Like in total, how many?
Well, there were 7 originally. You're down to 5 now.
Down to 5 now. All right, so we have 5, and I'm guessing they're all pretty much grouped around where Sobis is standing in the.
Yeah, they are all basically in the same general vicinity, to the point that we're not even in a virtual tabletop this one. It's all just.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not a big shop. There's not a ton of space.
All right. Well, since that was such a big hit that Sobis just took, Robin's gonna cast 2nd level Healing Word on Sobis. He's just gonna call out, "Come on, get big guy. We got some rabbit stew if you win this one." and as soon as he mentions rabbit stew, Sobus's favorite. That's gonna be 6 of his HP back.
Hey.
And then Robin will pull out the loot that he had under his coat. Where was that before? And he turns to Ingril and say, "It's really not usually this bad," and starts playing some battle music for Sobus. He starts just plucking out, or just some strumming away, some very mariachi-like battle music on this lute, kind of hyping Sobus up, and Sobus receives Bardic Inspiration.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Robin, you are so extra.
All right. So one of the non-winged kobolds will go next. And frankly, they're just not real big appreciators of music. So he's going to stab at Robin.
All right, guessing a dex save?
No, he's got a dagger.
Oh, no.
And
He just stabbing.
see. He's just stabbing. And he's got a 14.
Ooh, that hits.
All right. Oh, that's maximum damage. So that's 9 piercing damage as he manages to find Robin's kidney.
Oh, Robin in the middle, like one string breaks on the lute. He just like lets out a wail as he just, kind of bends backwards trying to figure out what he's going to do about this giant hole in him.
Meanwhile, the final winged kobold is going to go after Sobus. And actually takes to their wings to fly up to roughly eye level with Sobus, which is not bad, but, we're still not talking super high up here. And will swing and get a 9, and there's no universe in which that hits Sobus.
Definitely not.
No. So that takes care of that. Next up is Kobold Underling number 2, who's going to go after Gloriosa with his short sword. And roll a 3, so I'm guessing an 8 doesn't hit Gloriosa. No, I wouldn't think so. Sobus, you are up to bat.
Finally.
Possibly quite literally.
Firstly, I would like to rage.
I had a feeling you might.
Yep. Where's Mr. Spellcaster Man?
If this were 3rd edition, I'd say he's within cleaving range of you and the winged kobold, but he's basically right there.
Can I hit him?
You sure can.
Okay, I'm gonna hit him.
I mean, statistically speaking, you're almost certainly gonna hit him.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with my great axe. Normal roll. Oh, it was so close to a natural 20. Does a 15 hit?
It does, as it turns out, hit.
Bless. Let's roll some damage.
This is gonna hurt.
Let's see. I don't know if it's taking into account my rage.
It almost certainly is not.
Okay, because I selected that in the Beyond 20 thing for it to...
Well, maybe it is. Actually, yes, it does take into account your rage damage. So
dope.
16 total.
Yep.
That's not a small amount of damage.
I'm just gonna smile at him, and then just... May I make this non-lethal?
If you would like to, but he did burn you pretty bad.
He did. But I would like to take the butt of my great axe and just... BOP!
You give him the biggest black eye that kobold has ever had.
Yeah. Sobus isn't quite a fan of killing people.
The remaining kobold says in Draconic, "You can't hit him, he's royalty," and will swing at Sobus with a short sword.
It's fine, now I take half damage to everything.
Does a 17 hit?
17 does hit.
All right. And
Unless it's psychic damage, I have resistance to it.
it's not psychic damage.
Bless.
It is piercing damage for 6.
So I take 3.
Yep.
Dope.
And we are back at the top. Let's see. That kobold is dead. So Lunez, you're up.
All right. So, first of all, I'm going to cast, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word. And I just draw a constellation and a female with a body that looks like a night sky, wearing a purple long dress with small stars all over it, comes out and flies to the target, which is going to be Sobus. No, wait, Robin. And it sings in a gentle harmonic voice, como la flor. And you'll get, where's that? Oh, well, that's 5 hit points back.
I'll take it.
And as an action, I'm going to cast Ray of Frost. I'm going to draw a constellation with my fingers that looks like a swan. And it's going to... There's one right next to me, right? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Combo. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to cast that. Let's see if it hits. That's a 15 to hit.
Yes. Are you hitting the one that was casting or one of the ones with the sword?
The one closest to me.
Okay, so that's one of the ones with the sword.
Okay. And that's 2 frost damage, cold damage. And that's my turn.
All right. Next up, Gloriosa. And Alma, you're on deck.
How many kobolds are left?
There are still 5 kobolds at the moment because Sobus is a kind soul.
How ragged is the one that he bonked looking?
He's under half hit points from one bonk. It was admittedly a Sobus-sized bonk, but still.
Okay. And how big is the room that we're in?
It's probably maybe 20 by 10. It's the front of a store. There's obviously more to the store behind, but this front area is not particularly big.
I'm gonna go ahead and frostbite the one that got bonked.
Okay. And Constitution, that's definitely what these guys are good at. Let's see how we do. Hey, look at that. A 18. That will save. Does he take half damage on a save or no?
Hey.
Is it a cantrip?
It is a cantrip.
Probably none.
Usually with cantrips, if they save, they take none.
I went ahead and put the spell in Roll20 so that you...
Yep, it's only on a failed save.
Okay.
So, no damage. Huzzah.
I am going to also ask, like, why is royalty bullying a shopkeep on the docks of Dawnsharbour? Like, what?
That's an excellent question. Alma, you're up.
Okay. Well, Alma doesn't care if he's royalty or not. They're attacking my friends. So I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness against him.
Okay. Oh, good. Another Constitution save that these guys are so good at. Let's see how he does. Natural 20!
Hey, kobolds
Finally.
did something.
Hooray.
About bloody
Good for them.
Almost not happy.
No, I wouldn't be either.
It figures that Strike's rolls would be better this time.
But I think,
Yeah.
because I think Ray of Sickness is a first level spell, so
Yeah,
it should be
that's.
half
I believe
damage.
that's got something that happens with a failed or with a past save. So
Yeah, I
let
think
me
they take
double
half
check.
damage and are not poisoned. I think.
Yes. Well, they take 2d8. No, they take full damage either way. It's whether they're poisoned or not. So roll 2d8 for damage, Alma.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, you already did. So 11 points of poison damage. It's already built in there. Sweet. So you are good there. That kobold looks not great. He's not poisoned, so he's not taking disadvantage on everything, but he feels really sick. This is not great. So he's going to go ahead and turn to Alma, and he is going to cast Charm Person on Alma and Sobus.
Oh no.
What does that do?
So I need both of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Wisdom save for Sobus.
Yay.
Big fella.
This is
Now you are raging, so I think that will give you advantage on your wisdom saving throw against a charm.
Click on Wisdom and D&D Beyond.
Yep.
Yes, right there in that little box. Well, no, up at the top where you have all your stats, dear.
Yep.
Right up under it is or to the right side, there's a box that says saving throws.
Okay. You just made it, Alma, so you are good.
Okay.
Come on, Sobus.
Nope, the rage does not give any buffs to wisdom saving throws.
Oh God.
You have inspiration.
Oh, I do. I might be using that. Is it a
It's
D6?
a D8.
D8?
It's a D8. Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Normal roll.
Oh no, wait, sorry, D6.
I am going to definitely
What am I
use
talking
my inspiration.
Okay. Also, as a note, Alma, for the future, you get advantage on your saving throws against charm and enchantment. So even if you hadn't passed on that roll, you'd get to roll again. And take
Crap.
What did you do?
I rolled a 1 with your inspiration, so that's a 12.
Well, I did only get a little bit into the song before I got stabbed.
That's
so
true.
I feel like a great inspiration.
So 12 is the DC, so you are good.
Yes.
The kobold looks disappointed because that was really kind of the trump card. And
To charm Sobus.
I mean, the big spellcaster and the big bruiser were going to be on his team.
Yep.
And that's not happening now. So he's going to run away as fast as Expeditious Retreat will take him. However, that does give Sobus an opportunity to make a reaction, and I have this sneaking suspicion that he's going to want to.
Might I make this attack reckless?
I thought you might want to, sure.
Alrighty, let's hit you with that with advantage. Bop.
That's an actual 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Poor little dude.
Yep.
I have another question too.
In or out of character?
Well, out of character, I think. But like, what's the dwarf doing?
She's
during her-
watching. She is
Okay.
amused as all get out.
Thanks for helping, Ingril.
We're her guides.
Yeah, that's true. We
You're here to guard
We
her.
invite guests to clean up our
Yeah,
messes.
It's all good. I just wanted to make sure she didn't like poop.
I don't know if that is already credited.
It's not.
Okay.
So,
Can I just...
is Sobus also trying to non-lethally do this?
Yeah, I'm wanting to knock this person out. Yeah.
All right. So, Sobus takes the butt of his great axe and goes to bonk the kobold in the head as the kobold attempts to run. Sobis, however, catches the kobold right in the temple and punches a hole in the side of his skull. Because in one attack, you did more than his hit points, and he was already in the single digits.
That's fair.
You scrambled his eggs pretty good there, and
right.
he's not getting up.
Yeah.
Bonk.
I slowly peel his skull off of my axe, put my axe back on my back, and just lay him lightly on the ground.
Yeah, that's yep.
Go to sleep.
The remaining kobolds seem to be torn between flying into an angry rage and noticing that Sobis was trying to non-lethally deal with their leader and accidentally punched a hole in his brain. They've landed on flying into an angry rage. I don't anticipate this going well for them, but we'll see how it goes.
Wait, who got their brain? Would the prince got his brain scrambled just now? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, that was the royalty that got.
Sobis, you couldn't keep the royal alive.
I'm sorry, I tried.
Ransoms.
All right, Sobis, does a 14 hit you?
That is a negative.
But you attacked recklessly. I get advantage.
Everybody has advantage against me.
An 18.
Yep, that'll hit.
Hey, there we go.
I like to think that I'm just one big dragon being swarmed by a bunch of little dragons.
Yeah, that's basically what it looks like.
More or less.
Yeah.
That is 5 points of piercing damage.
Reduced to...
Two.
2? Okay.
2 whole points of damage.
2 whole points.
The winged kobold is flying up by your face and is going to get right into it. And we'll roll a 21 dirty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. That'll do it.
But he's got a dagger and not a D6. So he does 4 whole points of damage, so 2 rounded down of piercing.
Bonk.
And the remaining one gets a 14
To hit?
to hit.
Nope.
All right. Then we are next up at Robin.
All right. Well, how many kobolds are we looking at now?
There are 4 kobolds left.
4 left. Is the one that stabbed me still right next to me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured. So, what Robin's going to do is Robin is going to cast Hideous Laughter on this kobold.
I mean, if you've ever heard a kobold laugh, it's all pretty hideous.
Yes, it's gonna be pretty hideous, but like wincing from the pain of having this kobold hit him. Robin's just gonna let out I think you hit, like make a big fart noise right there, and just try to see if this kobold is into fart humor. Try to distract this boy. So that is a goodness.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. What is your DC?
It is 14.
Come on, please.
That is a fail because he has a negative wisdom mod.
All right. Then he is now prone and laughing his ass off.
Kobold laughter is kind of like the hyenas from The Lion King, but more high-pitched.
Oh, God.
Because they're just that much smaller. But it's still pretty awful. Sobis, it is your actual turn now.
Dope. Hearing that laugh, I assume I have kobolds all over me, right?
Yes, and kobold guts all over you too.
Okay, might I make my way over to the one laughing and dispatch him?
You sure can.
Because I don't like that sound.
Done.
Sure, let's make it reckless. Why not?
It's just an annoying little alarm clock that.
Yeah, a 22 with whatever modifiers you've got will definitely hit.
Dope. We're gonna roll that damage. We'll roll. Oh, not very much damage.
These guys came with 7 hit points fresh, so that's.
Oh.
Cobalt paste.
Did you try and do this one non-lethally, or was this the
No.
axe?
No. It was just Mr. Royal Man. I was trying to non-lethal.
So Sobus's great axe literally cuts the kobold in half as the sound of the laughter kind of dies as the air flows out the wrong end of the diaphragm.
I just kind of wanted the sound to stop, and so
Oh,
I was just hitting.
You cut the whoopee cushion in half. It stopped.
Yeah.
It definitely stopped.
I didn't like that sound at all.
And we are back to the beginning with Lunez.
So obvious. I can heal that. Okay. And I'm gonna do the magic missile with the asteroids.
Okay.
And how many kobolds?
There are 3 kobolds left.
All right, one to each.
Okay.
And what's the magic missile? So that's 1, 1, and 2.
Okay. All of them take the asteroid right to the face and are kind of reeling from the impact. Gloriosa.
I'm gonna probably just pick whichever one looks the most ragged and cast Frostbite on them.
That seems reasonable. All right. Constitution saving throws. That's a fail. So how much damage does that do?
5.
5, and that will kill that one. As literally his breathing slows as the cold sets in and then stops, and he just falls over. Next up, Alma.
All right, I'm gonna go for one of the. There's another one on Gloriosa, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go for that one, and I'm gonna cast Acid Splash on him.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
He managed to save, so he dodges out of the way of your acid splash.
Jerk.
Yep. All right, Robin.
All right, we're back to me again. Okay, so Robin, we're still at 3, right?
Yes. No, 2.
Okay, so we're only down to 2. All right, so Robin is going to pull his pull out his sling,
Mm-hmm.
which is preloaded with a bullet or a pellet, you know.
Yeah.
And he is going to. How are those 2 kobolds looking?
Not great.
All right. Well, he's going to try to sling it at just the nearest one to him.
Okay.
That's going to roll. Ooh, nice. A 22.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. And then for damage, it is going to be bludgeoning damage of 4.
And you peg that kobold right between the eyes. His eyes close in pain and never open again.
Oh, so sad.
Sobus, you're next. There's one left.
There's one left.
Yep.
How far is he from me?
Maybe 10 feet at the most. Not far enough.
I would like to move to him, and I would like to grab him by the neck.
Okay.
Not kill him, just grab him.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
Which I have advantage on because I'm raging.
Well, and he's got a -2 strength modifier, so I'm
Oh.
sure this is going to go well for him.
Bless. Okay, just straight strength?
Yep.
Alright. There's what? Oh, okay, it just automatically rolled advantage. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, 16 beats 0 because he rolled a 2.
I got him.
You definitely got some.
Okay. I holds him.
Okay.
I'm
We're
looking.
gonna
I'm looking.
Go ahead and assume that that's the end of combat rounds because there's nothing that guy's going to be able to do to get out of your grip.
Yeah, I'm looking at the rest of my friends. Like, okay, I planned this far. I don't know what else to do.
He's kind of flailing in your general direction, but it's like the T-Rex with the little arms, but he's just little in general. So he can't even get to your wrist.
Just a little T-Rex in my arms. Got it.
All right, that's so. Robin was kind of doing that sling deal, leaning up against the wall because even with Luna's nice healing star lady, he is still feeling that stab. So he kind of is holding his side, drags himself up, limps over to where Sobus is holding the kobold. Good job, buddy. Good job. Really nice. Excuse me. I'm just a little bit livid, but could you please let us know what kind of delegation was this?
The kobold looks at Robin with this weird mix of fear and anger and opens its mouth and then closes its mouth and opens its mouth again and closes its mouth again. Give me an insight check, Robin.
Sure thing. Let's do that right here.
Oh no.
I was not great, but it's 12. It's a 12.
Yeah, he's not getting any air through there.
Sobus, big guy. Let's ease up on the little lizard man, please. Let's give him a breath. All right, now let's move to the shoulders. Let's do a shoulder hug. There we go, shoulder hugs, just like we taught you, Sobus. Good boy. Now, one more time. What kind of delegation did the prince bring into this fine establishment?
Didn't say he was a prince. Royalty. It's difference.
My mistake. Well, which one of the high and mighty mini dragons was previously solid?
That was the Black Lady's emissary.
Do we know what that is, or do we need to make a check?
Give me a history check, but it's a disadvantage because I don't think any of you have spent any time in the Western Isles.
Oh, please, I would very much like to do this. It's gonna be horrible.
Black Lady emissaries?
The emissary of the Black Lady is what he said.
Rolled at a disadvantage. Robin's pulling a 7.
So,
Wow.
nobody has actually ever heard of this title, presumably, but the reverence with which it's said makes it sound like it's at least someone of pretty decent importance. Given what you know of kobolds, it's possible that that's a dragon.
Awesome.
Can I look at our dwarf friend? What does her face look like?
She seems puzzled. She doesn't have any idea what he's talking about either.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the shopkeep, like, hey, what was that all about? What happened?
The shopkeep sort of takes a deep breath. They came in looking for a set of pots and pans, and I told them that it was a silver piece for the whole set. And he said he wanted to pay 2 copper pieces, and I told him that it was a silver piece for the set. And he said that he wanted to pay 2 copper pieces, and I told him it was a silver piece for the set. And he tried to take it with him, and I told him that he had to pay for it, and he said he wanted to pay 2 copper pieces. And then you guys walked in, and I realized that I don't have enough mops in the back to take care of a lot of this, but it's fine because you didn't break anything. And honestly, I carry insurance for adventurers for just that reason.
I am nothing if not accurate.
Well, so I'm gonna wave my finger and trace in the air a constellation of a little dog, and it looks like a Rottweiler because my dog. And I'm gonna cast, and that dog goes to Robin and just licks him, and I cast Cure Wounds
Aww.
at level 1, and you get 7 hit points back.
Who?
Robin.
Oh, okay.
That'll put Robin to max. Nice.
And I'm gonna say,
whoa, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh,
Must be nice.
thank you.
and that takes care of that. And I'm gonna say, I can help with the cleaning, and I'm gonna prestidigitate the whatever.
Ooh, don't prestidigitate. Like, you're just gonna get the blood out of the way, right? Because we need to loot these bodies. We need to loot these bodies.
You can't really prestidigitate a body
yeah,
away.
Yeah, so you just get to the blood.
Yeah,
Nobody magic any bodies away. Somebody had coin.
but fine. And my prestidigitation is actually like a star shape that looks like a comet, and just waves around and cleans all the whatever there is.
And I will put my hand out to one of the kobold bodies and be like, I'll get rid of this. And I put my hand out to it and close my eyes real tight.
I prestidigitate that too. So,
And then
oh, you did it!
when
You
it
did
does,
it!
when the body doesn't move, whenever I open my eyes, I just kick it out.
Bless your heart.
Yep.
And Robin loot the bodies now that Robin's feeling better.
Yes, Robin can loot the bodies now that Robin is feeling better.
Time to go through their
actually
pockets and
loot
look for loose change.
There's one body outside.
So, wait, which check do I need to make investigate check?
Yeah, investigate's probably the best.
May I assist?
I had to
Sure.
help you last time.
Ooh, nat 20.
Oh, never mind.
I find everything they holding.
All right.
Robin, what are you doing? This is really, like, it's disturbing every time you do that.
They were shopping. They attacked us. The spoils are gain.
So as you are going through things, the caster had a small component pouch for his spells, but also a coin pouch.
Nice.
And in that coin pouch was, let's see, as you're counting through it, he had 8 gold pieces, 38 copper pieces, and 8 silver pieces. More than enough to pay for everything without any trouble.
But we got in a fight because he's a greedy bastard. Awesome.
Kobold. It's kind of
Robin?
income.
Robin, don't you think that you should leave the money to the shopkeeper?
Of course. And so Robin hands the shopkeeper. Now, Robin hands the shopkeeper half of all the coins while he pockets the rest on the other side. Because here we are, and our modest fee.
Even at half of that money, that is probably a good month's worth of profit for that shopkeeper. And he's more than happy to take that and not ask any questions.
Don't worry about it, little buddy. It's a win-win. We can't fight for free.
Also, just as a note, I'd like to look around, like just take a quick glance around the shop. Is there anything that catches my fancy?
Hmm.
Do you like me to make a perception check?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Okay. I am proficient in perception. Please be good. Hey, it's okay. Got a 13.
Okay. There's a small little, almost coin-shaped token with a feather inscribed on it.
I pick it up. What is this?
I don't actually know. Somebody paid with barter, and they said it was worth some money, and I decided that it was probably fine. Anybody that's paying with fake clay coins is probably more hard up than I am. But I
I'll
don't know what it is.
take it.
Sure.
How much?
Consider it part of your fee.
Did I miss what happened to the kobold that he
Yeah.
was holding?
I was about to say, are you still holding that cobalt?
No, yeah, I'm very much still holding the kobold. I'm just bear hugging him to my chest, and I'm just looking around the.
While you shop
He's
one.
basically got him in a papoose sort
Yeah.
of thing.
I'm papoosing this kobold
Dragonborn
right
and a baby dragon Bjorn.
now. Exactly.
All right, so then
Adorable.
I'm gonna look at you guys and just say like, okay, what are we gonna do about that? Little
Seems
guy,
like
he ain't coming home with us.
But he's cute. They're
Lotus,
cute.
no.
I look down at him. Is he cute?
Not especially. For a kobold, maybe.
this looks like something the guard might want to deal with.
I turn his head up to me. Are you going to tell anyone about this?
Make a strength check.
Okay.
You're gonna rip his head off.
Crack.
I'm not raging anymore.
It doesn't matter, you brute.
Oh god. Oh no! Oh no! It rolled with advantage.
No.
So we'll just take whatever the first number was.
Okay, it says a 12 on the other one, plus my strength is 5, so 17.
No, it said a 23 on the first one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
first one was 23.
Yeah. So you're holding the kobold back to you, and you turn his head to face you, and hear a loud crack.
Oh, this.
I look at Robin looks at Lunez and goes, "See this? This is why no pets."
Yes.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yes. I do remember the fox we had.
Oh, I'm crying. Oh god.
I turn to the shopkeeper and say, "So, how much is that Albert figurine?"
Does
that
his
you
body
have
just
there?"
go limp in my arms, by the way? I just throw him out of the tent.
The owlbear figurine, I normally charge like 2 or 3 copper for them. Matthew likes to carve them as a hobby.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
I'll take one.
He'll
And
hand
I
you one of the
just
figures.
yeah, and I just pay for it, and I live. I can leave 2 cookies, one for Matthew and one for the shopkeeper over the counter. Thank you, and sorry about this.
No need for apologies. You all came at what was obviously a very good time.
Is there anything else we want to see to the dwarf?
She looks at all of you and looks at the kobolds and then looks back at all of you. Honestly, I think I've seen plenty.
So I'm guessing this was
Very impressed.
Listen, this was not intentional, and we're just really sorry that you had to be here for it. Like, you didn't get any acid on you, right? You're fine.
No. I was far back enough that I wasn't in any real danger.
You didn't get any cobalt on you, right?
Not significant cobalt, but I already took care of it. Remind me never to bet against you, Sobis.
Most people do, most people lose.
I can see why.
He's very good at what he does.
I think, given everything, that you've more than earned your fee for the day. And she'll reach into her pouch and hand each of you 2 gold pieces.
very nice, very nice.
If you find yourselves in need of more traditional adventuring work, send a note to the embassy. I wouldn't be surprised if I can put you in touch with some people who might need help.
Oh, that's what we're all about around here, just helping people. Isn't that right, Lunas?
We are heroes.
You do help people.
But
And
of course, I'm sure.
With that, she'll sort of nod at all of you and head off in the direction of the town square in the palace.
You know the way back, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Walked it all yesterday.
Okay.
Wait a second.
This
Are you
was a
about to say
test.
something really that we're not gonna like? Are you about to say something we're not gonna like?
I think he is.
And with that, the dwarf will walk towards the palace.
Okay.
Okay.
Waiting on something else there. We're a little worried about that one.
And with that, she will slit your throat.
Yeah, as it turns out, I decided to do a TPK, and you'll all start undead next time.
Oh, good.
So a bigger Rottweiler comes out and just licks Sobis, and I cast Cure Wounds on you with.
Thanks.
Oh, that's a 12.
I heal 12?
Yep.
What? Alright, yeah, Sobus is totally fine.
Alma's gonna look up at Sobus and did you have to break his neck?
Well, I tried not to, but... And then I kind of flex.
Alma just blank stares him, turns, and just walks away for a little bit.
You did good, Sobis.
She's very impressed. Very impressed, big guy. Don't worry about it at all.
I'm sorry. And Sobus gets really sad, like kid pouting because he can't go hang out with his friends, like that level of pouting.
Alma will turn back around and be like, it's not your fault, just be more careful next time.
Okay.
Yeah, Sobis is not your fault.
So it is about mid-afternoon, and closing in on dinner time. What would you all like to do from here?
That's when Robin holds up the other half of the kobold's coins, the half that we kept, and said, well, I'd say we deserved ourselves a nice supper.
For once, I agree with you.
What kind of potions did I get?
Amber
knows?
colored.
Okay.
Gloriosa, would you like me to taste test them for you?
No.
Wait, I can't find out what kind of potions are there, or are they?
Sure. You can do an identify or detect magic.
Nice. I'm gonna do identify as a ritual,
Okay.
and of course I flavor this because obviously. So I take out a feather of an owl and what is it? A pearl. And the
I
feather.
don't think it's actually a pearl anymore.
It
I think they
isn't?
changed that. It always used to be.
A pearl
was-
worth at least 100 gold pieces and an owl feather. Yes.
Ah, yes. Okay, it is still a pearl. Okay.
And the feather turns into an owl, and he's wearing a pendant with a pearl, and his name is Orion, and it looks like a snowy white owl with galaxy eyes, and it just appears right here on my shoulder, and it flies over to the potions, just taps on them, and I begin to trace wherever he taps, and I form a tiny constellation, and that's identify.
Okay.
What are they, DM?
So those appear to be potions of climbing.
Oh,
Potions
that
of
sounds like
climbing.
heist gear.
So Orion says that these potions are potions of climbing.
Out of game, do we know what potions of climbing do?
I don't know.
Potions of climbing add to your climb check. As I understand it, I will double check that specifically.
And we got 3 of them?
Yep.
Did
Potion of climbing gives you advantage to strength athletic checks made to climb.
Nice, so I don't have to rage climb anymore.
Yep.
Okay, so let's all go to dinner. We're going back to the Cross Keys.
I think I've had enough of Helwis's cooking for a little bit. Let's stop in somewhere in town, shall we? Or somewhere near the palace.
What about the Lion's Mane?
Love it.
So, something that's a little bit more mid-scale, maybe not super classy because we're not that flush, but upper mid-scale, kind of closer to the palace. I don't know, probably puts the ale in actual glasses instead of mugs. I don't know.
I whisper over to Robin. I've got 52 gold. We're good.
Thanks, big guy. I appreciate it.
Is his whisper like actually?
Okay, when he whispers a little too loud, Robin's like, okay, it's all right. It's all right. We're good, Sobi. We're good.
All right.
Gloriosa, are you okay? Do you need any healing?
They swung a lot, but I don't think any of them touched me.
Alma, you okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Let's go to the Lion's Mane.
The
Robin,
lion's mane. Oh,
I was just gonna say, Robin, are these your potions? Like, you're gonna pay me for them, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a few back at the Cross Keys. No worries. I just knew Donner would give you a little discount, so let's all win here, shall we?
For such a robin.
I lean over to Robin. I don't get it.
Sobus, you know how your arms can move mountains?
Yes.
Well, these eyes right here, they move coin. And we keep on, and we just walk away.
And I'm trying to rectify in my brain how his eyes can do as much work as my biceps.
I'm just gonna come up behind Sobus and just like, it's okay, come on.
So the Lion's Mane is a fairly large stone-walled inn in the higher class district in town that used to belong to an actual wizard. And in some of the upper areas, there are still air elementals that move about and keep dust and such from accumulating in the upper rooms. Finor is the elf who currently owns the establishment. He's a bit of a caster himself, but not a practicing one. And has been here for probably a good 60 or 70 years now. The food is expensive. It's all in silver pieces on the menu as opposed to coppers, but it's very good. And there is ale, wine, mead, and even some spirits available as far as drinking goes. The common room, even by late afternoon, by the time you've gotten there, is starting to fill up with a fairly high-end patronage. Most of the people in are officials from government or high-end merchants that have come by for a bite to eat before going home, or are holding their own dinner meetings with potential clients or that sort of thing. There are at least a couple of dwarves that are here taking meetings over food, though Ingress is not one of them. There are still, however, a few tables, including one off in a corner if you're looking for something private, or one relatively near a decent-sized stage where it normally will house a minstrel or a performer of some sort if you're looking for something a little more centrally placed.
I'll elbow Robin and be like, this is totally your jam, isn't it?
I like that one in the middle there. Let's see if we can hear what's going on tonight in town.
Why doesn't everybody give me a perception check, since gather information isn't a thing in this edition?
Nope.
Investigation?
Perception or investigation, whichever you prefer. I'll give you either one.
Robin rolls 11.
Robin is distracted by the remarkably attractive waitstaff in the Lion's Mane that circles around. They're not particularly extravagantly dressed, but none of them are hiding the fact that they are attractive individuals and they are tipped individuals. So
I think Sobus is about in the same boat. I rolled a 10.
yeah. Also, this place smells divine. The food is everything there. It is a largely seafood establishment, so there's steamed whitefish, steamed carp going around. They've got some roasted bass from the down the river. They've also got some lamb and some pork dishes that are circling around, so there are plenty of smells that are circling around as the individual waitstaff is sort of carrying trays back and forth.
Luna's got a 24.
All right. So as the conversation sort of flits about throughout the room, it becomes pretty clear that a lot of the talk of the town is the trade delegation that is in from Lumia. A influx of dwarves spending coin, and that is unusual. But as a result, they're also selling some goods that, while they aren't unusual, Lumia does a big trade in ores and precious metals and stones and that sort of thing. There are a lot of individuals who have brought more raw cuts of gemstones, for instance, than generally make their way all the way out of town. And so there are a number of craftspeople in town that are kind of chomping at the bit in the hopes of getting some of these opportunities to work on materials that otherwise don't generally come out of the dwarven lands unworked. Both Lunez and Alma will pick up a bit more as their ears are better at filtering out the different conversations. There is talk of the tussle down by the docks, though it isn't at this point particularly clear to anyone who's talking about it who did what. Just that there were some kobolds causing trouble in a shop, and now there's a pile of dead kobolds in an alley. And talk of, is there going to be an investigation? Does anyone care if there's a pile of kobolds in an alley? Probably not.
That's dock life.
Yeah, especially down in that way, for the most part, unless there is somebody notably important that happens to get crossed the wrong way, what happens down by the docks more or less stays down by the docks. There are, however, also rumors that there are 2 more delegations that are due to come in the next few days. One all the way from Nibiru and the Elven capital, and one, surprisingly, from the Chancel of the Warded Boundary, which is a town that does a lot of farming in the north and is inside a valley that is entirely covered in a forbiddance spell that prevents teleportation and other such magics from functioning inside it. It is also surrounded by a massive mountain range all around the valley, making the only way in or out through the massive keep that sits in between the mountain pass. The keep has stood for hundreds of years and has yet to fall to any outside forces in any conflict ever known on the continent. The delegations coming in from Nibiru and from the Chancel, however, are not trade delegations. The diplomatic corps from the Chancel is coming in to negotiate because the Princess Fia has hit 11 years old this week. And there are discussions of potential alliances that might be had with a betrothal. Most of the people in the inn are relatively certain that Queen Calliope has no interest whatsoever in marrying off her daughter to anyone that her daughter doesn't want, but everyone is also understanding of the fact that, unlike her parents, who had several children, so you could have the help of having some spare children to go and do the I'm a free spirit thing, with only a single heir, Calliope has a lot less room to wiggle on this. That may very well be why the queen has been out in the forest with her daughter literally all day and has not made it back into the palace even by sundown. And it's suspected that she's probably staying out in the forest with her daughter, much to the chagrin of the queen consort.
So I guess
So
we need to...
all of the dwarves that are in town, like that, those are all one retinue. One. Do you think that? I'm saying this in character to everybody. Do you think that they're all with the ambassador? It's a lot.
Well, it's a royal's birthday, so they do tend to bring a party from far and wide.
I relay to the party everything I heard. Or
Okay. So, which was the fight, you know, the goods coming in from both north and south, and then the queen is still out with her daughter, right? That's all. That's in a nutshell the information we just heard. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the queen's still out in the forest for the night. You know, the queen consort did want someone to ask them to come home.
I am not probably going to be that person. I don't want to be that person. We don't want to be that person.
What would it behoove us to do that for?
You always like ingratiating yourself with the throne, dear.
No, you don't.
I'm sorry. Is that a me you or a rhetorical you?
Oh, that's a rhetorical you. Come on. A favor to the crown?
I don't particularly want to fall under the attention of the crown. That usually means trouble. When you get the attention of people who have power and money, like, I know you want power and money, but that's not the way to get it. That's the way that you get them looking at you and wondering why you're killing kobolds in a random shop down on the docks.
Fair, very fair. Sorry, Glory. Excuse me. Milady, my friend here, he's had a hard day. He would like to see what kind of stew do you have available?
The waitress comes by and pauses a moment. Well, the only stew we're making today is probably the saffron poached oxen with eggs and a rum sauce over the leeks and potatoes.
It's
What
good.
What do you say, Leatherface? Think you can eat a cow?
I want two.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
I'll have one too, please.
I'll have one, and may I please have one apple cider, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
One for me as well, and an ale, and a glass of wine for our tall, frosty lady. He looks at Alma like,
Sure. Thank you.
there you go. There we go.
All
And
right.
I put like 10 gold on the table.
Soap is picking up the tab like a champ.
The waitress comes back a few moments later with another one of the waitstaff in tow, bringing several large bowls of a phenomenally smelling stew with a plate of leeks and potatoes covered in a rum reduction sauce, glasses of wine and ale about, and she smiles once everything is passed out and says, we also have a mulberry tart if there's still any appetite after you've finished.
Of course, I'll have one.
Same.
I'll make sure that it's brought out once you're a little closer to finishing.
That's
Pretty
fine,
sure-
dude.
You can bring it now if you like it. There's no problem.
All right. And at this point, we're a little over 3 hours in. Everyone has had a couple of good meals in this adventure so far. I think this is as good a place as any to call it for this week.
Okay.
I'd like to thank all of my players for coming along on this adventure, and everyone in the chat who has come by to say hello. The hype train we had earlier, all of the gifted subs, and everything else. It's really heartwarming to see the amount of support and love that we're getting already. Our next game is in 2 weeks. And so, according to my schedule here, that is March the 7th. Same time, same channel. So that is 11 a.m. Eastern Time, March the 7th. And we'll pick up with maybe a royal birthday or maybe something else. We'll see what the group is interested in pursuing from here.
The story of Robin and his tart.
That's not a story for morning time.
Yes, thank you to everybody who came and watched us. We've been working very hard on this. I apologize that there was no music on the session. That was my fault. So blame me. And yeah, same time. What did you say the date?
March the 7th.
March the 7th will be our next session.
That's one day before my birthday, just saying. Please come.
Well, then we're going to have to celebrate something.
Do I need to sing Feliz Cumpleaños to you?
Oh, please do.
I will sing you Feliz Cumpleaños.
All right. Please join us then for the second session of Utharian Legends, and thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
Have a good rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Bye, folks. Thank you.